coming to the stage. Sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Stripes like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're out the dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
College football is going to ruin the NFL. You heard it here first. The NIL is going to ruin the NFL football game. If your team is bad, like the Las Vegas Raiders, like the New York Football Jets, like the New York Football Giants, like the Jacksonville Jaguars, the NIL is going to ruin your team and potentially of drafting a high draft pick that is going to be valuable for years and years and years to come. Buck, what are you talking about? What are you talking about, Willis? What I'm talking about is Georgia Bulldogs quarterback Carson Beck. Carson Beck was going to go into the NFL draft this season. He was projected as a first-round pick until his elbow injury. Since then, he has dropped about 3rd or 4th, potentially 5th round projections per Max Preps and other sources out there. Mel Kiper Jr., Merrill Hodge, those type of people. So Carson Beck says, you know what? 4th round players are going to make about $700,000 in the NFL their first year. They're going to sign a 4-year deal, potentially a 3-year deal. That's nothing what I can make in college. So what does Carson Beck do? He says, I'm going to enter the transfer portal. I'm going to enter the transfer portal and then go to a different team like the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, and they're going to pay me $6, $7, $8 million to come play college football for them next season. So when you look at quarterbacks like Carson Beck that could have come out a year early, these players are now going to come in earlier in the season or come out later in the draft. These players now are going to start to come out later in the draft because they can make $6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, $13 million playing college football. So this makes the portal or the a pool of draftable players smaller each and every year. This makes this pool of draftable players ages go up from 21 to 22. Now they're going to be 24, 25, 26 years of age before they come into the NFL. With that being said, the NIL deal is going to ruin the NFL. The NIL deals in college will ruin the NFL. Simple, cut, dry, and to the point. NIL deal is a good thing. It is. But they're just like any other contract, salary, whatever. There needs to be a cap on it. There needs to be a cap, and just needs to figure something out. Right now, it's the Wild Wild West, and it needs to be fixed. Those are my thoughts. Cue that intro. Are you ready for the best damn NFL show on the planet? Man Hour Nation! Rise up.
Yeah, hey, let's go. Hitting that gridiron, we going hard, we running the plays. You know the vibe, only the strong survive. Gotta keep your head in the game. Talking NFL, uncut, straight raw. Steady bringing that sauce. We about to take off. Get it hype, this man, our sport talk. Yeah, from the quarterback to the lineman. Everybody bringing heat. You don't really want to try them. Hey, who gon' win? It's a battle of the giants. This show is the flyest. Nobody can deny it. This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception? This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception?
Let's go. What is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckcountry here with the Man. I'm sort of the manhourradio.com. Check out that Explore tab. Check out the merchandise section. But most importantly, guys, check out the blog section. We got blogs dropping over there each and every day. manhourradio.com. Check it out. And if you be most inclined today, hit that like button, hit that share button with a couple of friends as well, because sharing is caring at the end of the day. But guys, it is Thursday. We do got a great show for you on today. And after today's show, we got Trivia Thursday happening. So if you know some NFL trivia or trivia in general and want to win some dollar bills, yo, become a Pigskin Pundit. Become a Pigskin Pundit by clicking the subscribe button below. And we do have the members after stream on Thursdays, and it is Trivia Thursday. So if you guys want to win some dollar bills, become a Pigskin Pundit. But today's show, we're going to talk about the Super Wildcard Weekend. We're going to talk about the Steelers taking on the Ravens, and the Ravens in a must-win situation. Do the Ravens have to win this wildcard game? Is their season a bust? Is Lamar Jackson's career on the line? We'll talk about it. And what if the Pittsburgh Steelers lose? What if they lose? Who is going to get the finger-pointing blame at them? Is it Russ? Is it Justin Fields? Is it Najee Harris? Is it Mike Tomlin? Who's to blame if the Steelers lose? We're going to talk about that. But most importantly, guys, as the winner of this game, the Baltimore Ravens take on the Pittsburgh Steelers, can they make that legit Super Bowl run? Can they make it deep into the playoffs and win the title? Who knows? And then we got the title, or the first game of Super Bowl Wildcard Weekend, the Chargers taking on the Texans. Are the Chargers a bust? Are the Texans a bust? We're going to talk about that. And can any of these teams that win that game, can they legitimately battle the Kansas City Chiefs? We're going to talk about that. As well. And then we got the Thursday segment. Did you see that? There's some news across the NFL that is very, very low-key, but very, very good, such as Jalen Hurts coming back, the Raiders firing their GM, Tom Telesco, and Zay Flowers ruled out. Slow it down, Buck. Slow it down. And then, of course, we got a little bit of fact. Mixed in a little bit of crap. Every hour, number 2 here at manhourradio.com. We got a little bit of fact and a little bit of crap. We're going to talk about Kirk Cousins. That's right, the man, the myth, the legend himself. Kirk Cousins, has he been demoted to quarterback number 3? QB3 and Kirk Cousins? What? Slow it down. And then Daniel Jones, active roster. Is Sam Darnold on the hot seat? Slow it down. And Tyreek Hill backpedals. No, he doesn't. His agent backpedals for him, and he's in damage control. Is Tyreek Hill officially in damage control, or is he just saving face? We're going to talk about that, all that, and much, much more, guys. Before we get too carried away, we got to welcome some people into the chat, such as Laura Johnson Hedrick. She is a Pigskin Pundit. She'll be in Trivia Tuesday. She says, good evening, y'all. Good evening. And she says, become a Pigskin Pundit. It's simple as that. Become a Pigskin Pundit, guys. Click on the subscribe button. Click on the members tab if you're on youtube.com/manhour. Become a Pigskin Pundit. And she says, oh, and by the way, Skull Nation from snowy Oklahoma. So hopefully, Laura, you are being safe out there. We got that snow coming here as well. We're supposed to get 6 inches tomorrow on top of the 18 inches that we already got. So we love it. We got my man Derek. He says, damn, I thought I was late. Damn, Derek, I thought my wife was the only one late. Nah, I'm kidding, man. And I said, if you are here, Derek, it doesn't matter what time you show up. You are never late. You are here supporting the brand. You're supporting the live stream, and we love your interaction. Welcome to the show, Derek. And we got my man Alpha Rob in the chat as well. It says, what up, bot? What up, Alpha Rob? What up, what up, what up? And Jack Hamilton says, nice spelling. I spelled everything correct, Jack. I just purposely misused plurals and singulars to see if people would notice. I'm just saying. Sometimes I put little nuggets out there, a little bit of Easter egg, just to see what people say, to see what the people have got to say. But guys, let's get into today's show. Let's go ahead and get into today's show, and let's talk about this must-win situation for the Baltimore Ravens. That's right. Are the Baltimore Ravens guys in this must-win situation on Super Bowl Wildcard Weekend? What? But as you guys know, the Steelers and the Ravens do go to battle on Saturday night in the second game of the Super Bowl Wildcard Weekend. They've already played twice this season, splitting the season series 1-1. The Pittsburgh Steelers won the first meeting 18-16, and then the Baltimore Ravens said, come back and hold my beer in the second meeting. They whooped that ass 34-17. The Steelers are currently on a 4-game losing streak. They've lost to the Philadelphia Eagles, the Baltimore Ravens, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Cincinnati Bengals. And on the flip side, the Baltimore Ravens are currently on a 5-game winning streak, beating the New York Football Giants, beating the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Houston Texans, and the Cleveland Browns. So many people are pretty much picking the Baltimore Ravens to cakewalk in this game, to lay the wood to the Pittsburgh Steelers, cakewalk all the way to the Super Bowl. But I got to ask the question. We got to put this thought process out there. What if the Baltimore Ravens lose this game? What if they come out there in the Super Bowl Wildcard Weekend and Lamar Jackson does Lamar Jackson and things in the playoffs, and Coach Harbaugh does Coach Harbaugh things in the playoffs, and they lose this game? Is their season considered a failure if they lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers Super Bowl Wildcard Weekend? That is the question that I want to ask. And that's the question that we're going to answer. Because when you look at the Baltimore Ravens, guys, they have been the top-rated offense all season long. I don't think they've dropped from the number one spot at all this season. So let me just put it out there. 18 weeks they have been the best offense in the game, week after week after week, putting up monster numbers, right? Lamar Jackson has been putting up MVP numbers. He's actually been putting up better numbers than his previous 2 MVP seasons. He's not going to win the MVP, but he's been putting up MVP numbers. They also got Derrick Henry this offseason, right? The man, the myth, the legend that the Baltimore Ravens needed to get to the Super Bowl, they got him. He's been putting up massive numbers too. Hell, you could argue that he is the MVP for this for the NFL, right? They got Derrick Henry strictly for the postseason. And oh, by the way, it's supposed to snow and be nasty in Baltimore on Saturday. Perfect for Derrick Henry in a running game. On the flip side, the defense has sucked. Let's just be flat out honest. The defense has been terrible for the Baltimore Ravens most of the season. The last 4 weeks, actually, since their bye week, they've gotten a lot better. Still not great. Still letting some shit slide by, but they've gotten a hell of a lot better. So, guys, if the Baltimore Ravens lose this game, is their season considered a failure? That is 100% yes. That is 100% yes. You cannot go out there and be deemed the best team in the NFL. As Mr. Compass says right there, the Ravens are the best team. You cannot consistently be called the best team, the hottest team, the Super Bowl favorites, this and this and this, and then go out there, lose to a division rival on the second game of Super Bowl Wildcard or Super Wildcard Weekend and shit the bed. This season would be all for naught. All for naught. Now, I understand all the excuses are starting to load up, right? All those excuses are starting to be pending for Lamar Jackson, right? It's going to be cold. It's going to be snowing. Zay Flowers is out. Yada, yada, yada. And that is all we hear from Baltimore Ravens fans most of the season. When Lamar Jackson wins, oh, Lamar Jackson's great. He is amazing. He's MVP. He is this and this and this and this. But when they lose, especially in the playoffs, he doesn't have a wide receiver number one. He doesn't have a running game. Coach Harbaugh's terrible. Fire him. Offensive coordinator's doing this, this, and this. It's always somebody else's fault. So the answer to that question is yes. It will be a complete failure if the Baltimore Ravens do not win this game. They have to go out there and they have to win this game. Not only do they have to win, they need to dominate the game, I think. Because if they don't dominate, they let the Pittsburgh Steelers hang around a little bit, they're going to come back and wax that ass. Now, I can tell you that the Buffalo Bills fans want the Baltimore Ravens to lose. The Kansas City Chiefs want the Baltimore Ravens to lose. They want to play the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's just, it is what it is, right? They want to play the Pittsburgh Steelers. Hell, if the Baltimore Ravens lose, the Buffalo Bills could be playing the Chargers again. I guess it would be the Steelers probably. But either way, they want the Baltimore Ravens to lose. So it is a win or else situation for the Baltimore Ravens. This season will be deemed a failure if they lose. So guys, in the comments below, if the Baltimore Ravens lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers on Super Bowl Wildcard Weekend on Saturday night at 8 o'clock, is their season deemed a failure? I'm saying yes. What do you guys think? Alpha Rob said the Steelers 24-20. Playoff Jackson shows up, which equals trash. Trash, he says. Now, Alpha Rob, I do agree with you to an extent, right? I do agree with you to an extent that Lamar Jackson in pass has definitely dribbled down his leg, buttholes puckered, and a little bit of turds popped out in the playoffs. Last season, that first playoff game, he did play very, very, very well. In the championship game versus the Kansas City Chiefs, not so terrible, right? Still not great, still not MVP level Lamar Jackson, right? Still not regular season Lamar Jackson, but he has gotten better. Has that monkey officially gotten off his back? I guess we'll find out Saturday night, just 2 days away. In 2 days' time, actually right at this time, 9 p.m. East Coast time, we'll see if Lamar Jackson's balling or not, right? Balling or not. And over here at YouTube, PHVTMP, I'm not even going to try to, I don't know what you're trying to, what your name is. And like he says, the panic is setting in for you, huh? Good luck. The panic for me is not setting in at all, right? The panic for a Kansas City Chiefs fan is not setting in at like at all. Panic for a Buffalo Bills fan is not setting in at like at all. There is no panic across the landscape at all. Let's just be honest, right? Because the Pittsburgh Steelers are supposed to lose this game. They lost 4 in a row. They're supposed to lose five in a row. Matter of fact, I believe the Ravens are favored by like 7 points. It might even be more now. The Ravens are supposed to win. So who is in panic mode? The Ravens are supposed to win. The Ravens are supposed to be the Super Bowl favorites, right? I saw a meme. Actually, I think Javi posted it on our Facebook page. Every 12 years, with this 28-year-old quarterback, the Baltimore Ravens win the Super Bowl, right? They did it with Joe Flacco. They did it with Trent Dilfer. And now Lamar Jackson's 28 years old, 12 years since they won the last Super Bowl. The Ravens are supposed to win. Hell, I'd even take it one step further that the Baltimore Ravens are the favorite to win the Super Bowl over the Buffalo Bills, over the Kansas City Chiefs, over the Pittsburgh Steelers, over anybody. They're the favorites to win it. So who is panicking? That's the question. Who is panicking? Nobody's panicking. If anything, the Baltimore Ravens are panicking because Alpha Rob says Zay Flowers will be their excuse. It is. The excuse is already there. They already have 3 excuses lined up right now, right off the bat, Alpha Rob. Oh, we cut Deontay Johnson. There goes our number 3, number 4 receiver. Zay Flowers is hurt. There goes our number 1 guy. Derrick Henry can't run very well in the snow. The excuses are already starting to pile up. Oh, we've already won 4 in a row. We're tired. The Baltimore Ravens had the last bye week of the NFL season, which was week 14. Then they turned around and then they played 3 games in 11 days. Then they had 11 days off. Yes, they did have to play week 18 to win the division. They did, right? I think most of their starters played most of the game, actually, if I'm not mistaken. So, and now they are a well-rested team. That's what I'm trying to say. Everything's lining up for Baltimore Ravens to win the Super Bowl. Everything's pointing that they're well-rested, Week 14 bye week. They had 11 days off between week 17 and week 18. Everything's pointing that they should win it. Zay Flowers will be an excuse. I guarantee it. I can already see it. Come Monday morning or Monday night when we're doing the show here, which is going to be tough because the Vikings and Rams will be playing. I'll be watching that game while doing the show, and I can already see the Ravens fans in in here. We don't have a number one receiver. We need better coaching. We need this. The excuses are piling up already. Derek says we'll call him Charlie Brown. So if Lamar Jackson loses, can we call him Charlie Brown? I mean, I guess you could. Could if you want to. But wasn't Charlie Brown the only reason why he kept missing the kick? Because the girl kept moving the ball, right? It was always somebody else's fault. I mean, I guess so. I guess so. And Laura says, I'm waffling, but hey, go purple. Laura says, I don't know who to pick. She doesn't know who to pick. She says, I'm waffling around, but go purple because I like purple, because I like Vikings. Go, baby. And Derek says, Lamar gets hurt, it's over. And that is correct. And honestly, if any quarterback on any playoff team gets hurt, it's probably over. Jalen Hurts gets hurt, it's over. Patrick Mahomes gets hurt, it's over. Jared Goff gets hurt, probably over. Right? Justin Herbert gets hurt. That is not a stretch at all, Derek, right? Hell, I don't even know who the backup for the Ravens is. So it is definitely over. Definitely over. James Franks in the chat. What's up? James says, what up? I'm done. Finally made it back. Ravens by 10, baby. And I said, James, slow it down, baby. How can you pick the Ravens to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers? I'm just playing. And James says, I told you, y'all, Pittsburgh was fizzled out at the end of the season. I mean, it's kind of not out of reach. They had the hardest schedule to end the season. And band notification says, Kansas City Chiefs fans stand up. Let's go, Chiefs Kingdom, baby. Let's go. And James says, I remember George Pickens blaming the snow for the loss in Cleveland. He can't play in the snow either. Good thing for you, James. George Pickens can't catch the ball right now either. And they got Najee Harris, baby. Najee Harris, let's go. And Richard Lopez says, Swifty City fans, you mean? Oh, come on, man. I am a Swift. I am a Swifty. Go Tay-Tay. I love me some Tay-Tay. Before she did start to eat my man TK. Daryl Johnson says, ain't no excuse. Just got to get up there and ball out. And Daryl, you might be a logical fan. Daryl, you might be a level-headed fan. I don't know if you're a Baltimore Ravens fan or not. I'm just assuming that you are. So correct me if I'm wrong. If you're not a Ravens fan, but when I say most, at least 80% of the Baltimore Ravens fans that I know that interact with our page, including Wayne G, says that when the Baltimore Ravens win, it's all Lamar Jackson. When they lose, they need all this help. No number one receiver, no this, right? And honestly, it is always the next man up. I believe my man WBN over on our Facebook.com/man hour page says, yeah, Zay Flowers is up. And he says, next man up, baby. Next man up. But let me ask you this, Daryl. Who is the next man up? From Rashad Bateman and Nelson Aguilar, who else do you have as far as receiver? Excuses are there. Excuses are there for the Ravens. Let's just call a spade a spade. They are there, and people can definitely rely on those excuses moving forward, right? Band notification says the whole NFL is getting their butt kicked by the Swifties. Let's go, baby. I like it. Alpha Rob says the Ravens fans are going to be crying about no one can get open. Probably. Lockdown defense, baby. Lockdown defense. And James says, I'm just being a hater. I'm sitting on the couch. I'm staying warm. I'm rooting for my Browns to do well in the draft. I'm just being a hater. Listen, James, I love it. Hate all you want, brother. Hate all you want. He says, I'm picking the Ravens because screw Pittsburgh. Richard Lopez is in the chat today. What's up, Richard? And he says the LOL Swifties wish the Chargers are coming. Richard, stay around because we're going to talk about your Chargers. Here in about 15, 20 minutes, we're going to be talking about your LA Chargers and about how overrated they are. That's right, I said overrated. Overrated. The Chiefs have beat every team in the playoffs. We fear no one. Not wrong. And Laura says, yuck, Swift talk, please stop it. No. Tay all day. And James says, don't rape Taylor Swift when you got Tech 9 repping the Chiefs. Listen, Tay and Tech need to do a collab album. I'm just saying. Throw in a little bit of Chris Calico for some chorus. Ooh, it's fire, baby. Do you guys remember when Tay used to rap? Slow it down, baby. Slow it down. And Jen says, what up? And Derek says, I do want to try some Kansas City barbecue. Listen, the best barbecue you will have is at a Kansas City Chiefs game doing some tailgate. They get out there at 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, do a little rub down in the meat, put a little bit of mustard on it, put a little bit of brown sugar, wrap that thing, and smack it good. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. And Jim says, I'm currently in an argument about the fact that there was never such a thing as a Chiefs fan until Brady went to Tampa. Something about the loudest AI invented, I'm unsure. Chiefs Kingdom is the loudest stadium in the world. What was it? 137.1 decibels. Richard said, let's hear it. We'll be talking about your Chargers coming up, Richard. Just gotta slow your roll, baby. You gotta stick around. Gotta stick around because right now we're gonna talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers. We've been talking about the Baltimore Ravens, about whose fault it might be. But the real question is, whose fault is it going to be if the Pittsburgh Steelers lose this game? I am picking the Pittsburgh Steelers to win this game. I think they're going to come up there with the upset and wax that ass, baby. But what if they lose? What if they lose? Like we said, guys, the Pittsburgh Steelers are currently on a 4-game losing streak. 4-game losing streak. They lost to the Eagles, which, by the way, is a playoff team. They lost to the Ravens, which, by the way, is a playoff team. They lost to the Kansas City Chiefs, which, by the way, is a playoff team. 3 of those games were in like 11 days. And then they did lose to the Cincinnati Bengals, right? Or sorry, then they lost. Yeah, then they lost to the Bengals, which was a team fighting for their playoff lives. And I said it, the Pittsburgh Steelers will probably be a more dangerous 5 seed or 6 seed as a 3 seed. They saw it coming like, hey, you know what, Buck, you're right. Let's be a 6 seed. So they lost that final game. Guys, the Pittsburgh Steelers had a great first half of the season. Justin Fields held his own, while Russell Wilson was injured with that calf on the sideline. He was 4-2 as a starter. Russ, first game, was versus the New York Football Giants. They came in and won that game. Then they won 4 games in a row after that. He was actually 6-7 before their 4-game losing streaks. Their current 4-game losing streak. In the process, guys, Mike Tomlin did get yet another non-losing season as the NFL head coach. But, guys, the question is, if the Pittsburgh Steelers lose this game, who is to blame? When we look at this game, can we say that Russell Wilson lost the game? Can we say that the defense lost the game? Can we say that Mike Tomlin lost the game? Who is to blame? And when you think about this, Russell Wilson has not been that great the last 4 games. Let's just be honest. So far this season, he has under 2,500 yards passing. Granted, he's only played 9 games, but still under 2,500 yards passing. He has 16 touchdowns to just 5 interceptions. In the last 4 games versus the Eagles, he had 128 yards passing. 217 versus the Baltimore Ravens, 205 versus the Kansas City Chiefs, and 148 versus the Cincinnati Bengals, with an average QBR of 37.3. Those are the last 4 losses. In the last 4 wins, he has 158 yards passing versus the Cleveland Browns. Sorry, James, but they did beat the Browns. Then they had 414 yards versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Then he had 205 versus the Ravens and 195 versus the Commanders with an average QBR of 75.7. So when we look at the blame game, right, Russell Wilson has kind of been pretty set par most of the season. Yes, his QBR went from 75 when winning down to 37 while losing, but the yardage-wise kept pretty on point. So if the Steelers were to lose this game, as long as Russ does his 180, 190 yards, bada bing, bada boom, you cannot blame Russ. That's what I'm saying. But then, look at the rushing attack. When you look at the rushing attack in the last 4 games, the last 4 losses, right? The highest rusher had 14 yards versus the Eagles. Ouch. 48 yards versus the Ravens, which was Warren. 74 yards versus Kansas City Chiefs, which was Najee Harris, and 36 yards versus the Bengals. And the last 4 wins, 53 yards versus the Browns, 75 yards versus the Bengals, 63 versus the Ravens, and 66 versus the Commanders. So rushing attack has been pretty much on point, right? Yes, Eagles fan, I am looking, but right now I'm speaking my thoughts. And then when you look at the defense, right? The defense, the last 4 losses, they've given up 19 points to the Bengals, 29 points to the Chiefs, 34 points to the Ravens, and 27 points to the Eagles. And the last 4 wins is 14 points to the Browns, 38 points to the Bengals, 16 points to the Ravens, and 27 to the Commanders. So when we look at this game moving forward, everybody has been kind of playing status quo except for the defense. Guys, if the Pittsburgh Steelers were to lose this game to the Baltimore Ravens on Super Wildcard Weekend on Saturday night at 8 p.m. East Coast time, I'm going to have to blame the defense. The defense is what is going to make or break their Super Bowl run. The defense, guys, I've been saying since June. The defense is great. The defense is top-notch. The defense is top 10. All they need is a quarterback that doesn't suck. Russ has not been sucking. They have a rushing game. The rushing game is not prolific by any stretch of the imagination, but it's still up there. But the defense has given up a lot of points in this 4-game losing streak. It is what it is. Now, the defense did not look that terrible versus the Bengals, but still got to step up. So, guys, if the Steelers were to lose to the Baltimore Ravens on Saturday, who is to blame? I have to say the defense, guys. So, who is your X factor? Who do you think is going to get the blame if the Pittsburgh Steelers lose on Saturday? And Jim says it's going to be Russell's fault. It's going to be Russell Wilson's fault. And honestly, Jim, you are probably correct. Quarterback of the team, whatever, Russell Wilson's fault, right? Can we maybe start blaming Arthur Smith a little bit for Russell Wilson's downfall the last three or 4 games? Maybe Arthur Smith is not putting his quarterback in the best position. Richard Lopez, the Steelers trash. Come on, brother. I'm not saying the Steelers are like trash. Richard, I had the Pittsburgh Steelers as my Super Bowl team earlier this season. Hell, just a month ago, I had them as my Super Bowl team. Now I've slowly backed off of that. And I've slowly jumped off the wagon, and the wagon is still within reach. I can still maybe grab it and pull myself back on, but I'm not calling the Steelers trash. I'm not calling the Steelers trash. I just want to say that. And Laura says, I hope the Steelers take that big fat L. Slow it down, Laura. Stop the hate. And Alpha Rob says, if they lose, Tomlin has to be the blame. No playoff wins since Big Ben and Peyton played. And Alpha Rob, you might be correct on this one. You might be so much correct that I would say if Mike Tomlin does lose it, or the Pittsburgh Steelers do lose this game, Mike Tomlin might be out as the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach next season via trade. Eagles fan 26 says, who do you think will win the Super Bowl? And I believe it's the Kansas City Chiefs, not the Eagles, not the Lions, not the Vikings. It's the Kansas City Chiefs. Eagles fan says they aren't playing Russell Wilson versus the Ravens. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And they said they announced Justin Fields will be quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers this time. No, they will not. Russell Wilson is the starter. It's simple as that. Russell Wilson is a starter. Now, I'm not saying Justin Fields may not get a series, may not get some more packages, but Eagles fan 26, you do understand that Justin Fields has been nursing a injury, right? Since the Eagles game, he has been nursing a injury. I don't know what I think it was his hamstring or an ankle, something on the lower part of the body besides his vagina. But you understand that Russell Wilson is the starter. The reason that I know this is because Justin Fields was 4-2 as a starter. Justin Fields was healthy. Russell Wilson became healthy, became 100%. And Mike Tomlin says, hold my beer, Russell Wilson, you are in there. A move that everybody questioned. Everybody's like, really? You're going to do that? You're going to do that? What? Everybody questioned it. Now, a lot of us ate crow. I ate crow. I was like, this is dumb. Why are you doing this? 4-game winning streak later, whatever. Justin Fields is not starting. Williams says it will be Boswell's fault for getting sick the night before when we need him the most. Boswell is the leading scorer for the Pittsburgh Steelers this season. And honestly, William, if it becomes a field goal battle, if both defenses are balling out, holding teams out of the end zone, they can get to the red zone, but keeping them out of the end zone, Pittsburgh Steelers got a hell of an advantage, right? Which is weird because the Baltimore Ravens kicker was one of the best kickers in the NFL. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if his wife's cheating on him or like what, but he is a head case right now at 100%, and Boswell will definitely be your X factor. James Frank says Tomlin got his winning season, so that's all, folks. That's all Tomlin cares about, right? Is getting that 9 wins, and I'm done, baby. Another successful season. One more. Laura says, making snow ice cream. That's weird. Eagles fan says, if George Pickens plays the same he did against the Bengals, I will blame him. How about this? If George Pickens plays at all, the Pittsburgh Steelers lose. George Pickens is a cancer, y'all. I understand that when I say that, I get blamed as poor medial journalism or whatever. I didn't go to school to do this shit. I went to school to do IT stuff, right? I went to school to become a business IT person, right? I don't care about your journal integrity. George Pickens is a cancer. Simple as that. I see it. George Pickens is a cancer, 100%. James Frank says, we all thought Wilson would be benched. Maybe they were all right. Just predicted the time frame wrong. Russell Wilson's not getting benched. He'd be playing all game long. Eagles fan, is he even looking at the chat or just talking? I am looking at the chat. The chat's right here on my right-hand side of my screen. My notes are right here on the left side of the screen. I see it all. I see it all, baby. This is a live, interactive show, live, raw, uncut NFL talk. You will not get this anywhere else, Eagles fan. I have been on other shows, right, and where I'm commenting and they just skim over the comments and don't even look at them, right? This is live, interactive. We have a conversation. I see it all. We do. Man, we may not go deep into every comment, but we do see it all. We bring up every comment. We do try to answer each and every comment. Richard Lopez says, yes, he's looking. Eagles fans, I swear. Oh, Chargers fans, I swear. Eagles fans says the defense didn't do that bad last week. They didn't do great, but they didn't do bad, right? Russell Wilson was terrible last week. Yes. What was the total that he had? What was the yardage that he had? What was it? 148? Is that what I remember? Yeah, 148. Yeah. And I believe his QBR was like 32 or 33. So he definitely wasn't good. I mean, honestly, that whole game, the Pittsburgh Steelers looked very, very uninspired to do well, right? I think in the back of their mind that they were going to get the 5th seed and they're going to play the Houston Texans and have a nice little cakewalk, right? I thought they thought that was going to happen. Unfortunately, Chargers won. They dropped down to a 6th seed and now they got to play the Ravens. But they did not want to be there. I'm just saying, they did not want to be there. They just announced that Justin Fields is starting. All right, Eagles fan. I have a script that I wrote that pulls up every tweet from around the NFL. So all 32 NFL teams brings it up. So I have about 50 missed text or missed tweets that I have not seen. A lot of them are like the same. But I'm down here to number 48. The most newest text was sending our love, thoughts, and prayers to the people that is impacted by the city of Los Angeles wildfires. This is from the NFL Players Association. I see nothing about Justin Fields starting. Breaking news, Vikings and Rams wildcard game will be moved to Arizona. And Travis Kelce says, I ain't scared of nobody, meaning the Cincinnati Bengals. Nothing about Justin Fields starting. Nothing. So come on, stop with that fake news. Stop with that fake news. Chargers go with that number one defense. Just saying. The Chargers do not have the number one defense. I'm just saying. They have a number one scoring defense, but they don't have the number one defense. Slow it down, Richard. Slow it down. Slow it down. And Derek says Russ is to blame. Not Najee, not the defense, not Mike Tomlin. Russell Wilson will be the blame. Probably right. Probably right. And Richard Lopez says, whoa, slow it down, baby. You had the Steelers winning, but you're a Chiefs fan? How? Please explain. So, Richard, this was back when the Pittsburgh Steelers, so earlier this season, back in June and July, when we did our preseason breakdown, I said the Pittsburgh Steelers are one of the best teams in the NFL. They have a great defense. They have a great running game. They have a good receiving core. All they need is a quarterback that doesn't suck. Insert Justin Fields or Russell Wilson, right? The quarterbacks that's not going to suck. Most of the season, first 12, 13 weeks, they did not suck at all. And as a Kansas City Chiefs fan, Richard, this was the only team that I was afraid of in the playoffs was the Pittsburgh Steelers. Because I thought they were going to be a fifth seed, right? They were going to be a fifth seed, so the Chiefs would have had to play them in the divisional round. Now, obviously if everything holds par, the Steelers win, they'll still play the Kansas City Chiefs in the divisional round. At this particular point, 25 days off for the Kansas City Chiefs, right? Patrick Mahomes has not played football in 25 days. Actually, it'll be more than that. It'll be right at 25 days when this game happens. Rusty, right? Pittsburgh Steelers coming off of a big win. Russell Wilson's been there, done that, won the big game. If I'm not mistaken, every time Russell Wilson wins a wild card game, he goes to the Super Bowl. I was worried about that. And I thought that could happen because I was worried about the defense. Also, at the time, the Kansas City Chiefs were they were winning. They were playing good, but it wasn't dominant. So, yeah, I was on that Steelers bandwagon. I loved it. I loved it. Laura says, in my opinion, neither team deserves to be in the playoffs. She says, I'm going to support my daughter, says Laura. As a Bengals fan, the Bengals should be in the playoffs, not the Steelers, not the Ravens. Laura's saying that the Bengals should be in the playoffs because they won 4 games in December. Yay. Too bad they couldn't win games in November or October or September or August, right? They just had to wait till December. If the Bengals would have beaten the Patriots week 1 like they were supposed to, they would have been in the playoffs. I'm just saying. And Alpha Rob says if Wilson doesn't turn the ball over like he did last game versus the Ravens, he'll be fine. And Alpha Rob, you are 100% correct because that was the game changer of that whole Ravens-Steelers game back, 3-4 weeks ago, right? They went for it on 4th down. They missed it. No. Let me step back. Two steps back. Lamar Jackson throws a interception in the red zone. Pittsburgh Steelers pick it off. I believe it was a tied game at this point. Was it 10-10 or 6-6 or something? Just like that. Very next play, I actually tweeted like, "Oh, this could be a game changer for Lamar Jackson throwing the interception." Right. Very next play, Russell Wilson throws a pick 6. The route was on. What was the final score? 31-17. The route was on. And Derek says, I wanted to see Denver versus Pittsburgh. Wasn't going to happen. And Jim brings the biggest facts out here. He says, all Chargers fans are AI. They are AI. Porter says, are you ready for the NFL playoffs? I am. I don't like week 18. Week 18 kind of sucks. Give me some playoffs, baby. Give me some playoffs. Eagles fan 26 says he has made some incredible catches, but holy blank, he dropped so many catches. He has definitely dropped a lot of catches this season, I'm just saying. And Porter says, oh, I'm sorry for this, but the Ravens are going to win. The Steelers and the Ravens are much better. 35-20 Ravens. Should. 35-26. No, 36-26. Yes, this chat is delayed. There's a lot of comments I got to get through, Eagles fan. So slow it down, baby. Porter says, I don't want the Chiefs to win another Super Bowl. If they do, because of the refs, do you agree? Shut your mouth. Porter, this is that old, tired argument. The Chiefs only win because of referees. Get out of here with that crap. Get out of here. Like legit. Get out of here. Come on, man. Come on. Drew, what's up, Drew? He says the Bengals always have problems getting started at the beginning of the season. Get better as the season ends. Who cares about the Bengals? They're out of the playoffs, Drew. It's not my fault that they start 0-2 every season. Do better. Much like Jalen Hurts in the first 2 drives of the game. He always sucks. Do better. James Frank says the Lions and Vikings game was good, though. It was. There were a couple good games, right? The game that went into overtime, who was it? It was the Panthers and who did the Panthers play? Crap. Drawing a blank, guys. Help me out. Panthers played the Falcons. That was a good game, too. Richard says, Chargers fans are AI. That's the craziest. I've been a Chargers fan since 2002. And Richard, clearly you are AI. Thank you. The Falcons. Yes, the Panthers did play the Falcons. Correct. Thank you on that. And Laura says, shh, let's not talk about that game. Yeah, Laura's a Vikings fan. But let's continue our Baltimore Ravens and Pittsburgh Steelers talk, guys. We are talking about the Super Bowl here, right? Obviously, the Ravens are a Super Bowl favorite. The Pittsburgh Steelers can be a Super Bowl favorite if their defense plays great like they did during their 10 wins so far this season. But I got to ask the question, guys, in the comments below. Does the winner of this 3 versus 6 matchup, Baltimore Ravens taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers, does the winner of this game make the Super Bowl? Both of these teams, guys, at some part of the season have been Super Bowl favorites. Both of these teams, at one point during the season, both had the ability to make the Super Bowl. When you look at this game matching up, right? If the Baltimore Ravens win this game, they will play the Buffalo Bills in round 2. Pending the Buffalo Bills get past the Denver Broncos, that's a story for a different day. But they will not have to play the Kansas City Chiefs either way, right? They will play more than likely the Baltimore Ravens or the 4 seed, the Houston Texans, or the 5 seed in the LA Chargers. But more than likely the Buffalo Bills. If the Steelers win, they will more than likely play the Kansas City Chiefs unless the Denver Broncos upset the Buffalo Bills, and then they would have to play the Buffalo Bills. So basically, either way, whoever wins this game will have to probably play, they will have to play another top team in the AFC, in the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills. And they still got to play another game and potentially play the Kansas City Chiefs or the Buffalo Bills in the AFC Championship game. So when I think about this, will the winner of this game have an opportunity to make it the AFC Championship game? Or not only to the championship game, but to the Super Bowl, right? I want to say yes. Because everything is lining up for the Baltimore Ravens to make a nice Super Bowl run. Everything is lining up to have the Baltimore Ravens beat a division rival, go into Buffalo, beat the Buffalo Bills, and then get revenge on the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead in the AFC Championship game. Everything's lined up for a great storyline for the Baltimore Ravens. However, We know how the Baltimore Ravens perform in the postseason. That is not a dish on Lamar Jackson. That is not a dish on Coach Harbaugh. That is not a dish on the Baltimore Ravens franchise. It's just the facts are facts. Lamar Jackson does not play up to his regular season standards in the postseason. It is what it is. Harbaugh does not coach up to his regular season standards in the postseason. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's nerves. I don't know if it's butterflies. I don't know if they're just trying to outthink themselves. For whatever reason, they do not perform well. Pittsburgh Steelers. They have not won a wild card game or a football or a playoff game in general in 15 years. They had an opportunity a couple years ago against the Cleveland Browns at home, won the division. The Cleveland Browns come in and whoop that ass, baby. So do I think the AFC Super Bowl representative will come out of this Baltimore Ravens-Pittsburgh Steelers game? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no because the Buffalo Bills are the real deal. The Kansas City Chiefs have been there. They have done that. But the Buffalo Bills, guys, are a team right now, looks to be a team on a mission. Let's just be honest. Just it is what it is. But what do you guys think? Does the winner of this game make it to the Super Bowl? Alpha Rob says no. Simply put, no. He does not. They do not. They do not. They do not. Drew says no. They do not. And Derek says, how do the Buffalo Bills get a play-in game? That's what happens when you lose 3 games, right? The Kansas City Chiefs done had it locked up week 15. Once the Kansas City Chiefs were 15-1, man, it was game over, Drew. Or Derek. Unfortunately, with the 14-team playoff system, only one team from each conference gets a bye, and you got to have basically 15 wins to get that bye. It is what it is. It is what it is. And Drew says Lamar chokes every time. Now, Drew, this has been the past narrative, right? That Lamar Jackson does choke in the playoffs. Last season, maybe, just maybe, he got that monkey off of his back. Maybe, just maybe, he's finally going in the right direction. But we'll see. This time, on Saturday, 48 hours away, we'll see if he can get that monkey off of his back. Derek says, I don't think that either will make it this season. So Derek says no. The Super Bowl winner or Super Bowl AFC representative will not come from the 3 versus 6 matchup. Just not going to happen. Just not going to happen. Porter says, I am a Rams fan, and I am surprised the 1-4 at starts that they win the AFC West and get home advanced. I thought this season was over and the Rams were going to beat the Vikings. Porter, come back tomorrow. Tomorrow we will be talking about the Rams versus Vikings. This is a very, very intriguing game. I want to talk about it, so we're going to talk about it tomorrow. And Jim says the biggest story is about the Raiders and how he wasted time to put on this playoff crap. Well, we are talking about the Raiders coming up, Jim. We are talking about the Raiders coming up. And Rob Fay says it's going to be the Chiefs versus the Lions. That's what the world wants, right? That is what the world wants. But what the world really wants to talk about right now, that's the LA Chargers. What the chat wants to talk about right now are the Los Angeles Chargers. And guys, the first game of the Super Wildcard Weekend will feature the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Houston Texans. As of right now, the LA Chargers guys are 11-6 on the season, while the Texans are 10-7. The Chargers are currently on a 3-game winning streak. They have win over the Denver Broncos, the New England Patriots, and those Las Vegas Raiders, Jim. And in those 3 wins, they have not scored less than 34 points in each of those 3 games. As of right now, guys, the Chargers are favored by 3.5 points in this game versus the Houston Texans, depending on what betting site that you look at. But what if the Chargers lose this game? If the Chargers lose this game that they are favored in, will this season be considered a bust? Is this a bust of a season if they lose to the 4 seed to the Houston Texans in this playoffs? So, guys, I want to preface this by all season long, I kind of feel like the LA Chargers have been kind of underhyped. When you look at the LA Chargers, they have 11 wins this season, right? Yes, they were not glory wins. They were not blowout wins. They were not putting up massive offensive numbers, but they won a lot of football games. In a normal season, 11 wins might win you the AFC West. Let's just call it a spade a spade. If you want to flashback even further, in 2023, they were a 5-win team. This 2024 LA Chargers team was 100% rebuild. This was a rebuild season. Mike Williams, gone. Keenan Allen, gone. Brandon Staley, fired. Cam Akers, gone. They were in a complete rebuild. Insert Coach Harbaugh. Insert J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, and one of the youngest wide receiving corps in the NFL. On the other hand, though, guys, the LA Chargers, they've only beaten one playoff team so far this season. They've only beaten one playoff team so far this season. Yes, they have 2 playoff wins versus the one team in the Denver Broncos. They beat the Denver Broncos twice so far this season. On the other hand, guys, the Chargers have had the second easiest schedule in the 2024 NFL season. So how many of those 11 wins were actually good wins? Because when you look at their schedule, it's nothing like, really? When we were doing the power rankings, right, the biggest drawback from the Chargers for me was, yeah, they are 8 wins, 9 wins, 11 wins, but who had they played? Right? Outside of their division opponents, the Chiefs, the Broncos, and the Raiders, they played the Panthers. They played the Cardinals. They played the Saints. They played the Browns. They played the Titans. They played the Falcons, which barely beat the Falcons, by the way. Barely beat the Falcons, but a win's a win. And then they played the New England Patriots. So they are not dangerous by any stretch of the imagination in the playoffs. They are what? 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're 1 and 5 versus playoff teams. Lost to the Kansas City Chiefs twice. Lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Lost to the Ravens. Lost to the Buccaneers. And I see your comment, Richard. Any given Sunday. I get it. But guys, if the Chargers lose this game in which they're favored in to beat the Houston Texans, will the season be considered a bust? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say it's not going to be considered a bust because of the 5 wins that they had previously. They still won 11 games, right? You just play who is in front of you, right? It's not their fault that the Raiders suck. It's not their fault that the Patriots suck. It's not their fault that the Falcons suck and the Titans suck and the Browns suck and the Bengals suck and the Cardinals suck. The Panthers suck. It's not their fault. They still have 11 wins. So this season is not a bust. Win, lose, or draw on Saturday afternoon, 4 p.m. here on the East Coast time. Win, lose, or draw, this season is not a bust. I understand people are like, oh, Super Bowl or bust, Super Bowl or bust. Nah, slow it down, baby. Slow it down. You are in a complete rebuild. Let's just be honest. You are in a complete rebuild. And many people are picking you to beat the Houston Texans. I want to pump those brakes a little bit. Pump the brakes a little bit. We'll be talking about it. But pump it up. Pump it up. What do you guys think? If the Chargers lose to the Texans in the playoffs, is this season considered a bust? Yes or no? Yes or no? Richard says bolt up, baby. Bolt up, bolt up, bolt up. And Jim says, are they really the LA Chargers? I mean, like, really, are they the LA Chargers? I mean, they rent a home, so they are a team with no city. So can we really call them the LA Chargers since they don't have a home field? I don't know. Jim, you might be on something. I don't want to. Now, I'm not going to make that joke, but maybe they'll move back to San Diego. And James says the Chargers will win. Cut, simple, to the point. Chargers are going to win. This isn't even a conversation that we need to have, says James. James says, yeah, you can think about that. You can think about what if they lose as a season like a bust, but they're going to win, baby. He says, slow it down. They're going to win. Jim Powell, the homeless Chargers. And Drew says, a W is a W. True. A win's a win, especially in the NFL. And Rob says, Allah, who do you think? Who do I think is going to win this game? I think the Houston Texans are going to win this game. I think the Houston Texans find their defense, they find it back, and they win the game. I think many people have counted the Houston Texans out, so they just slow it down. And Alpha Rob said the Chargers should be beating a slumping Texans team. A Houston Texans team. They should. But it's the playoffs. We all know what happened to the Chargers in the playoffs, right? Is 28-0 too soon? Too soon? Jim Powell says, and they can win all they want. They will have to give it all back to W's after Harbaugh gets caught. Oh, there's no cheating in the NFL, Jim. There's no cheating in the NFL. Rob Fay says, I'm from Minnesota, but I live in Cardsland in Arizona. Well, Rob, welcome to the show, man. We have yet another Minnesota Vikings fan here, as Laura is a Vikings fan as well. And there's Suzanne, and there's several other Vikings fans that are normally regulars here. So welcome to the show, Rob. Welcome to the show. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, man. We're here every Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. East Coast time. And Richard says 11 wins, and it's still a rebuild, baby. Hey, Richard, I'm not calling your season a bust. 11 wins is still 11 wins. You are correct. 11 wins is 11 wins. Let's go. And Richard also says, yes, but remember, it's any given Sunday. Correct. Vikings game is Monday versus LA, and Rob, it's at Arizona, at Phoenix. I believe it's at Arizona Cardinal Stadium, more than likely. JM's back in the chat today. What's up, JM? He said the Chargers had a decent roster, just bad coaching. And honestly, JM, the last 10 years, the Chargers have been, every year you see the roster like, damn, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, what, Cam Akers, like what? Or sorry, Austin Eckler. I said Cam Akers. I meant Austin Eckler, right? Like, damn, like, okay, you got Bosa, you got Matt, like, okay, but then every year you're right. Brandon Staley would shit the bed. One of the worst coaches in the NFL. How did he keep a job so long? I don't know. Somebody come get this man a beer. I don't know. Stanley was horrendous. You are correct, JM. Stanley was the worst fourth quarter coach I've ever seen in my life. Poor clock management, poor play calling, just lack of football IQ when it comes to nut crunch time. Drew says, I'm not judging any team. Once the playoff starts, the slate is wiped clean, and each team starts at 0-0. Drew, you are right to an extent, as every team is 0-0. As my man Richard Lopez does say, any given Sunday. You can say the playoffs is a different animal. But in the back of your mind, Drew, I know I've lost 4 games in a row. I know I'm playing bad football. Preparing for another week is not going to just preparing for the playoffs and like another week. And this is not going to remember that I'm playing like ass right now. Chargers right now are playing good football. Texans are not. So, I mean, I get it. I'm not judging any team, says Drew. Once the playoffs start, the slates are wiped clean. They are wiped clean. Everybody's 0-0. Win and go home. It's simple. It's simple as that. But at the same time, still have to take regular season into play. At the same time, just because the playoffs start don't mean all your players are exactly healthy. It doesn't mean you're healthy. Slow it down, baby. And Drew says it would not be a bust of a season. It would not. Derek says, who has the better backfield, the Chargers or the Texans? And I would say the Texans. I like me some Joe Mixon, right? As long as CJ Stroud can pass the ball a little bit, what they have Nico Collins, or not Nico Collins, because Nico Collins is like out. Stephon Diggs is out. As long as Tank Dell can do something, and Dalton Schultz can maybe do a little something, just get people out of the box, Joe Mixon's going to have a day. MK0066 Street says, my upset of the week is the Denver Broncos. You and everybody else, MK006s. Everybody wants to jump on that Denver Broncos bandwagon. Derek says, I'm thinking it comes down to an interception. CJ Stroud's been throwing a lot of those this season. Laura says, I'm kind of liking the Texans with a dub. Skull. Drew says, nobody expected them to be this successful, especially with the new coach. And Drew, you are exactly wrong. Everybody was jumping on the Chargers bandwagon this season. Everybody was. We got Justin Herbert. We got J.K. Dobbins. We got Gus Edwards. We got a run-happy offense. We got two bruisers in the backfield. Plus, we got one of the youngest wide receiver cores out there, Quentin Johnson, and we drafted Ladd McConkey, and then we drafted Joe Alt. People were high on the Chargers, John. Drew. You should have been here this summer, people. People were high on the Chargers. Me, not so much. I was like, slow it down. Slow it down. Right? You still got to battle with the Chiefs. Still got to battle with the Broncos. Slow it down. Slow it down. MK006 Tree says, and the Green Bay Packers will beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay. Alpha Rob says, I don't get the Denver thing, people. 34-19 Buffalo Bills. Slow it down, baby, right? But guys, is this season, if the Chargers lose on Saturday, would it be considered a bust? I'm saying no. However, on the Texans side, the Texans guys, the Magic Man right there on the screen, guys. If you guys are seeing us over here at YouTube.com, of course, Facebook.com, we got my man CJ Stroud on the screen. The Magic Man, right? The Magic Man. But as you guys know, the Texans started off hot this season. They were 6-2 to start the season, including a win over Alpha Rob's Buffalo Bills 23-20. But since then, they are 4-5, including losses to the Jets and to the Titans. And they also lost to the Detroit Lions on Sunday. Was it Sunday Night Football or Monday Night Football? Either way, they lost to the Detroit Lions when they held a 23-7 halftime lead and lost that game 26-23. CJ Stroud has been considered the Magic Man. D'Amico Ryans has been considered the Magic Man. The Houston Texans are the Cinderella story, right? Last season and on to this season. But guys, is the Magic done in Houston? Are the Houston Texans done? Are they ready for a complete rebuild yet again? Right? Are they continue? If you guys look at the Houston Texans, in 2023, they 100% overachieved. Nobody expected the Houston Texans to make the playoffs last season, let alone win the AFC South, let alone win a playoff game. They 100% overachieved. And the only reason why they won the AFC South was because of a drop pass by Colts running back Taylor Godson in Week 18. And that drop pass gave them the playoff berth. The Texans, so far this season, have had some huge injuries. I will give them that. One of which was being Stephon Diggs. They got Stephon Diggs in a trade this season. He wasn't putting up crazy numbers, but he did have just under 500 yards in 8 games that he played so far this season before being placed on IR. But Stephon Diggs' appearance on the field did more than just stats. He opened up the whole field for everybody else, including Joe Mixon, including Nico Collins, including Tank Dell, including Dalton Schultz. When Stephon Diggs was on the field, the Houston Texans were a very, very good team. But beyond that, the Houston Texans have one of the worst offensive lines, guys, in the NFL. One of the worst offensive lines in the NFL. They are 27th in pass blocking and 31st in pressure pass grade. That's not good. That's not good at all. The only team that's worse than them on the offensive line is the New York Football Jets. They never did address their issues on the offensive line when they had the chance to. As simple as that. They were stubborn. D'Amico Ryan's like, no, I got my team. We're good to go. But like the Chargers, the Houston Texans do only have one win over a playoff team so far this season. However, they do have the 7th hardest schedule in the NFL. So, guys, is the magic in H-Town? Is H-Town made official magic over? Are they done? Are they finished? Are they finine? Guys, the Houston Texans are the biggest question mark team that I have followed all season long. Up and down, up and down, up and down. Every time you start to buy into this team, they go out there and they lose to the New York Jets. every time they start to sell this team, they go in there and they beat a team like the Dallas Cowboys. They beat them down handily on Monday Night Football. This was back when the Dallas Cowboys were not very, very good, right? But they still beat them down. But then they lose to the Titans, but then they beat the Titans, and then they lose the close one to the Green Bay Packers, get blown out by the Minnesota Vikings, but then they battle the Detroit Lions. They're like, who is this team? Guys, the Houston Texans are a team that if they show up and they play A-plus ball, they can beat anybody. But if they don't play A-plus ball, they're getting beat by anybody. Look at the Jets. Look at the Titans. CJ Stroud, for some reason, ever since that injury to, was it Tank Dell? Broke his leg and tore his ACL and MCL and like all that stuff. Probably going to miss the 2025 NFL season. CJ Stroud has been an emotional wreck. He has not been good. He has not looked good. He has not played good. He has not performed well at all. Guys, I think the magic in Houston is over. They had a nice little 2-year run. They had a nice little run. The only reason why they're in the playoffs right now because the AFC South strictly just sucks. As simple as that. The Indianapolis Colts did not want to win that division at all. They had opportunities. They're like, no, we don't want that. That is gross. Get that out of here. But guys, the Houston Texans are not a good team. The magic is over. But can they beat the LA Chargers? I think they can. Will they? I'll let you guys know Friday night. But guys, is the magic over in Houston? And Laura says, yeah, it is. They lost to the Vikings. The magic is over. They got beat down by the Vikings, Laura. Let's just be honest. And Alpha Rob says, CJ Stroud has been struggling for a while. I don't see it stopping. And not having Stephon Diggs, Alpha Rob, your man from Buffalo, former Minnesota Viking, he was the X factor for this Houston Texans team. He was why they were 6-2 to start the season. Stephon Diggs was that engine of that machine in Houston. Ever since he has been gone, they've been terrible. Drew says the Texans need to beef up their offensive line and depth. That is 100% facts. They are terrible. They are terrible. And Derek says, how do you remember all of these facts? Derek, I watch a lot of football. I do take notes before the show. As a pigskin pundit, you guys see my notes, right? I have a little bit of, I just have a little bit of snippets of like points on like a sheet of paper. Actually, like, look right here. I don't know. Like I got like some notes here, but it's just watching ball, Derek. Like, I don't know. I have a uncannily ability to remember things that I should not remember, like songs to the 8675309 song. I can't tell you who sings that song. I don't know the name of the song, but I know every word to the song. It's just stupid. MK006 Street says Denver strengths defense. Mac Hollins, Shakir, and Allen best weapons on the defense has a puncher chance. What do you mean to say? Laura says I think he has notes on one screen. I do have a little bit of notes. MK006 Street says CJ Stroud has looked bad. He has. He has definitely not looked good. Definitely has not looked good the last, 5 weeks or so. Since they lost to the Jets and Titans, actually since the Kansas City Chiefs game, 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, CJ Stroud has not been himself at all, right? Laura says he hasn't been the same since that crying on the field after that injury to like Tank, the Kansas City Chiefs game. Yeah, it was. I remember that. Actually, Laura, I think I had the game on pause, and Laura's like, "Did you see that Tank Dell injury?" I had not seen it yet because I just got home from basketball and I was catching up. As soon as I saw it, I was like, "Oh my god, that's terrible. That is terrible." MK says teams has tape on him and he'll need to adapt, meaning CJ Stroud, which I don't think CJ Stroud has necessarily been figured out per se, because he didn't have like a special game, right? Yes, he had arm strength, he had accuracy, he had a little bit of scrambling ability, but his game was not special by any stretch of the imagination, like a Lamar Jackson or other like Michael Vick per se, where you had to like totally scheme to stop him. CJ Stroud was just playing really, really good football last year, his rookie year. Texans ran out of that man juice. Derek says, who can they beat if they win? Meaning the Houston Texans? They can't beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Alpha Rob says, Allen had Cooper, Kincaid, Knox, Cook, and the Denver defense hasn't played number 17. Not wrong. James Frank says, 208-330-8004. Hit him up on the low. 800 fool. What are you even talking about, James? I have no idea what you're talking about. But what I want to answer this. When we look at this game, this is a 4-5 matchup on the AFC side of thing. So in theory, the winner of this team, I don't know why the Pittsburgh Steelers are like up there. It should be the Chargers. My bad. But can the winner of the Texans and Chargers team actually beat the Kansas City Chiefs? Can they actually go into Arrowhead Stadium and compete with the Kansas City Chiefs? Because the winner of this game will more than likely will play the Kansas City Chiefs in the divisional round in the playoffs. So the question is, guys, who has a better chance of beating the Kansas City Chiefs or compete with the Kansas City Chiefs? The LA Chargers or the Houston Texans? When you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, guys, they are a team that can beat you in many different ways. It can be a defensive slugfest. It can be a special teams play. It can be an offensive shootout game. The Kansas City Chiefs can play any type of game that you want to play. The Texans and Chargers can only win one type of game. Let's just be honest. The Texans win shootouts. Only one of their wins so far this season that they scored under 20 points. The Chargers usually win in a slugfest. 7 of their 11 wins when they have scored under 27 points this season. The last 3, they did score over 34 points, but it was versus the Patriots, the Raiders, and the Broncos. Let's just be honest. Not very good. So when you look at the Chargers or the Texans, guys, who has the better chance to compete with them? The answer is the LA Chargers. The answer is the LA Chargers because they've already seen them twice so far this season. And guys, what is the hardest thing to do in professional sports or sports in general? It is beat a team 3 times. The Kansas City Chiefs have already beaten the Chargers twice. Can they beat it the 3rd time? As a Kansas City Chiefs fan, I do not want to see the Chargers in the playoffs because I think they match up the best over those 2 teams, over the Houston Texans and the LA Chargers. So who can beat them? Who has the best team to compete with the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs between the Texans and the Chargers? It's going to be the Chargers. It's going to be Chargers. So who do you guys think? James says, Mike Jones, you said a song with the phone number in it. I don't think I've ever heard a Mike Jones song. I'm going to be honest with you, James. I don't think I've ever heard a Mike Jones song. Like I've heard people say, like Mike Jones, Mike Jones, Mike Jones. But I never listened to a Mike Jones song. And damn it, I'm a gangster. And Alpha Rob said the Chargers have a better chance. Alpha Rob, you are correct. You know why you are correct? Because the Chargers are just something about the Chargers just pissed me off. As a Kansas City Chiefs fan, I don't know what it is, but something about the Chargers always pissed me off because we can never blow them out. It's just irritating. And the Chargers are a team. If you let them hang around, they're going to come back and bite you in the ass. Just saying. Drew says he was basically numb his whole rookie year. He wasn't thinking, he was merely reacting because he didn't have time to think about it. He balled out. Yeah, slow it down, baby. Slow it down. MK006 Street says Chargers wide receivers in big moments might be the X factor like the Chargers backfield. When we look at the LA Chargers, they're MK006 Street. They have a lot of drops. Quentin Johnson might have the worst hands in the NFL. Lad McConkey might be the second worst hands in the NFL. The backfield doesn't even get passes thrown to them because they're so bad at catching balls from the backfield. But if the LA Chargers can catch the ball, even at a rate of 50%, anything over 42% that they're catching right now, I'm totally making that number up. But if they can catch the ball 50% of the time, they can beat the Texans and they can probably beat the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm just saying. And Laura says, beat a team not once, not twice, but 3 times. She says the Chiefs can do it. I know, Laura. I know. Slow it down, baby. Slow it down. MK006 says, is Houston's playing from behind? The Chargers should win. Because the Chargers do have that grounded out, pounded out type of offense, and a defense that just doesn't give up big plays. I believe they're only giving up like 18.6 points per game or something, just like that. So they don't let you score. It is what it is. It is what it is. But guys, we are 90 minutes into today's show. Man, this day is going by. Going by. Laura says, not the Chiefs. Stop it. Laura, we know you're a closet Chiefs fan. But guys, here on Thursday in 2025, here on the Man Hour, we do a little thing called Did You See That? Did you see that? It says, did you see that? And what this segment is, guys, this is low-key news from across the NFL landscape that many people may have not seen, right? Potentially not have seen, and we need to talk about it, right? I'm not for sure what happened with my headphones. Can you guys still hear me? If you guys can still hear me, give me the number 3. Can you hear me? Give me the number 3. I think, okay. I think we're good. Not for sure if my microphone just stopped or like not. But if you guys can hear me, give me the number 3. But this is a segment called What Did You See? Actually, not What Did You See and Did You See That? That is a segment is Did You See That? So across the NFL landscape, we have been seeing some stuff that's been kind of flying under the radar. And number 1 is Jalen Hurts. Did you guys see that Jalen Hurts was back at practice today? Why is this a big deal? This is a big deal because Jalen Hurts has missed the last 2 games due to a concussion. No, not the 2 games, but he missed 1 game, and then the previous game he got knocked out in the first quarter. But it was basically 2 complete games that he was missed. And earlier this week, he was trending to miss the game versus the Green Bay Packers. Now, we all know that the Philadelphia Eagles don't throw the ball a lot. They don't nearly throw the ball at all. They're actually 29th in the NFL in passing yards per game with 187. But having Hurts back gives you that dual threat system, right? With Hurts in at quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles, guys, the Eagles are a Super Bowl caliber team. And I think they have a threat to win it all. But did you guys see that Jalen Hurts is back? That is number 1. Jalen Hurts is back. Next up on Did You See That? The Las Vegas Raiders, guys. Can this team get any worse, right? They fired their general manager today, Tom Telesco. Just after 1 season with the Las Vegas Raiders, they said thanks, but no thanks. Me personally, I thought he had a pretty good draft, right? They drafted Brock Bowers. They drafted 2 pretty good offense of like linemen, and they added much needed depth to that defensive side of the ball. Many deem this draft as a slam dunk. Me personally, I had this draft as a B+ for them. But I gotta ask the question: are they making room for Bill Belichick, guys? Are they out there making room for Bill Belichick? We heard Tom Brady make a phone call to Bill Belichick, offer to have his buyout. It's only $10 million. Fired AP. 24 hours later, fired Tom. I don't know. Bill Belichick to Vegas, guys? I don't know. But did you hear that Tom Telesco is out? Next up, Zay Flowers. Did you guys hear that? Zay Flowers will be missing the wildcard game versus the Pittsburgh Steelers as he has been ruled out with that knee injury. Zay Flowers suffered a hit to his knee last week in the win over the Cleveland Browns to win the division. He has not practiced all week, and as of today, after practice, he was officially ruled out. So far this season, Zay Flowers has 1,059 yards passing, but the last 4 games, he's been kind of balling out. He had 31 yards versus the Houston Texans, where they hardly played at all. That game was well in hand, well after halftime. But then he had 100 yards versus the Steelers, 53 yards versus the Giants, and 74 yards versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Ravens did trade for Deontay Johnson earlier this season, but then since then they have released him. They still have Rashad Bateman and Nelson Aguilar, but beyond that, that wide receiver room is pretty thin. Lamar Jackson excuses train is loading as we speak, but did you guys hear that Zay Flowers will miss this game? Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Did you hear that? And the next, did you hear that, is Aaron Glenn. Did you guys hear that Aaron Glenn has scheduled interviews with the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Chicago Bears, the New York Football Jets, and the New Orleans Saints? He did turn down the New England Patriots offer, but a little bit about Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn was drafted by the New York Football Jets back in 1994 as a 12th overall pick. He did play NFL season with the New York Football Jets, the Texans, the Dallas Cowboys, and the Jacksonville Jaguars before he signed as a free agent for the New Orleans Saints, where he did play just 2 games before he was injured, right? He was very, very injured in limited role before he was placing on the IR. Many of these teams are looking for player coaches now, right? They want to follow that D'Amico Ryans type of thing, that Dan Campbell type of collaboration that has happened. Many people have linked Aaron Glenn to the New Orleans Saints because of his playing days. He's played two games there. Slow it down. Aaron Glenn does have scheduled interviews, like I said, guys, with the Jacksonville Jaguars, Chicago Bears, New York Jets, and the New Orleans Saints. But did you guys hear that? Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Let us know your thoughts on like on that, guys. What do you guys think of that segment? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Let's do something a little. Didn't hear that. And Derek says he did not hear that Tom Telesco got fired. He did. James Frank says we fired Ken Dorsey as well. That you guys fired him a long time ago. What, last week, wasn't it, James? Yeah. MK006ers, your thoughts on Bill Belichick took the college gig? He did take the college gig, MK006, but his buyout is only $10 million. There has been teams that have been out there calling for Bill Belichick, judging his interest into the NFL. One of them which being the Las Vegas Raiders, and the other one being the Chicago Bears, and the other one being the New York Football Jets. So, if you were Bill Belichick, what would you rather do? Would you rather coach it in the NFL and strive for that record? I think he needs, 18 more wins to get the all-time winning record? Or do you want to deal with this NIL crap that's happening in like college? Me personally, NFL all day, every day. Sorry, North Carolina. It was fun. It was real. Here's $10 million. Shut your mouth, and I'll see you in the NFL. Tony Tone says MV3 for Lamar Jackson. I say slow it down, baby. Slow it down, baby. Slow it down. It's Josh Allen season. It's Josh Allen season for MVP. Come on, Tone. Come on, Tone. James Frank says, yeah, I was stoked that they fired Ken Dorsey. Well, I mean, when you hire sloppy seconds from the Buffalo Bills, what do you expect? I'm just saying, what do you expect? Derek says there is a clause in Bill Belichick's contract that he can leave the coach and the NFL team. I mean, honestly, you can leave. I don't need a clause at all. If I don't want to be there, I'm just going to quit. I'm like, see ya. But it is what it is. All right, guys. So it is time. 30 minutes left in the show today, guys. 90 minutes in, hour number 2. It is time for a little bit of crap and a little bit of crap. We've been scouring the old interwebs. We see what the people are talking about, and we're going to determine if it indeed is a fact or a crap, guys. This is a live, interactive show, so play along down in the comments below. Determine if it's a fact or if it is a crap. The first crap of the day is going to be about Kirk Cousins. My man, Kirk Cousins. Laura's favorite player in the NFL is Kirk Cousins. But as you guys know, the Atlanta Falcons did bench Kirk Cousins late in the season after a 5-game stretch where she threw 9 interceptions just to 1 interception. That team also lost 4 games in a row, pretty much sealing their fate not to make the playoffs. He also had the team only winning one of those games in the last of those 5, like I just said, which the win was versus the Las Vegas Raiders. 17-13, I believe that game was. The GM and their coach has since come out and said that they are okay with Kirk Cousins being quarterback number 2 in 2025. So, guys, when we look at Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons next season, fact or crap, will Kirk Cousins be quarterback 2 for the Atlanta Falcons in the 2025 NFL season. Guys, Kirk Cousins signed a 4-year, $180 million deal with a $90 million guarantee his first 2 years for the Atlanta Falcons. They even colluded with Kirk Cousins to get him down there to get that deal done. They lost their 4th-round pick because of this. And if Kirk Cousins is on the roster after March 16th, he'll be owed an extra $10 million. $10 million. Guys, this is all propaganda. This is all stunt process. This is all hyping up a guy that you really don't want on your roster. Let's just be honest. The Atlanta Falcons are saying, yeah, we love you, we like you, but over here on the other side of their mouth, they're fielding calls about potential trade partners for Kirk Cousins. A potential a little bit of this and a little bit of that. The simple fact of the matter is, guys, Kirk Cousins is not going to be quarterback 2 for the Atlanta Falcons next season. It is what it is. They are not going to be paying this man $45 million guaranteed to be a backup quarterback. They are looking for trade partners. This is like talking up an ex or talking up a girlfriend that other people want, but you just want to get away from her as fast as you can. The Falcons are saying this, that they're okay with him being quarterback 2, so that way teams are willing to give them a call, right? Like, hey, you want a 5th round pick? Hey, you want your 4th round pick back? You want a little bit of this? You want a little bit of that? Like, what do you want? Right? What do you want? Because they're not going to cut him. They're not going to cut him because then they get that for free. Wasted all that money. Wasted the 4th round pick. Did this. Done that. Guys, this is crap. Kirk Cousins will not be quarterback number 2 for the Atlanta Falcons next season. So, guys, fact or crap? Will Kirk Cousins be quarterback 2, QB2 for the Atlanta Falcons next season? James says we do not want him. Richard says Pickle Chain is going to Cleveland to reunite with Stefanski. Laura, why is my chat not popping up? What is going on? Laura says fact, he is not my favorite though. James says he could probably get us more than 3 wins, but I still don't want him.